Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Good to have you here as always. So yes, another gang patch ban update. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since these new laws came into effect, banning gang insignia in public places. Is it really going to reduce crime? Has it reduced crime? Or are these laws just really about targeting certain individuals? Let's get into it. So, 2 weeks. Oh, wow. Must have been a massive amount of arrests being made. Crime must have come right down, yeah? Well, no. Okay, it is a little bit too early to tell about the stats, crime stats and everything like that. 25 arrests have been made in the last couple of weeks for individuals breaching the anti-gang insignia laws. So let's have a look at some of these arrests. Now, I mentioned a few of them in last week's video. Of those arrests made, the majority were for wearing insignia in public. Now, that can range from anywhere from hats to t-shirts to patches, obviously. So yes, quite a few of the members have been arrested for wearing that insignia in public. I guess some of them are trying to push the laws because the police have stated that a lot of these members are modifying their patches, trying to get around these laws, you know, by changing the wording or whatever, which, hey, it's bound to happen. Only a few of these cases have actually involved other crimes. Now, they have, the ones that have involved other crimes, they have found weapons or drugs after they have been arrested for wearing insignia in public. There are some that have popped up on my radar that I'm just like, well, okay, this is where it's becoming an overreach of these laws. And I stated in last week's video that these laws are just a way of a government to eventually strip rights from groups that they don't agree with. And it can be any group. These laws can be applied to any group, not just gangs. This is their way of testing the waters. And anytime you give a tool like this to police become overzealous, especially in New Zealand. Not as bad as Australia, but we saw in Australia when the Queensland Vlad laws came in, they were targeting everyone and anyone. If you even had a little patch or whatever, they would pull you over and you'd have 10 cops surrounding you. Now, this is a member of a social motorcycle club who had been targeted multiple times by police just because he has a patch on his vest.
Before you said you hate police, is there any reason you hate police?
Because he pulled me over 21 times for no reason. Yeah.
Oh, right.
And I've had 2 infringements and I fought them both in court and won them both because they were bogus.
Okay.
So I've got no respect for cops, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, we're just doing our job.
Yep.
I don't know you
That's what you'd all say.
So, yeah.
So this is where these laws start getting a bit slippery because they do start using these laws to target anyone and everyone. And it's happened. A man in Auckland was arrested for wearing a t-shirt that was linked closely to a motorcycle club. He was wearing a supporters t-shirt. Now, this man had no links to gangs whatsoever. None were found. He was just wearing a supporter t-shirt. He was arrested for wearing gang insignia in public. Now, my understanding of the laws was it was gang insignia. So gang members only wear gang insignia. Support gear is not gang insignia. That's where these laws are going to start creating problems because they will start targeting anyone and everyone. Everyone is going to get lumped in with this. And even the social motorcycle clubs may get lumped into this as well. The New Zealand government are actually adding more gangs to the New Zealand gang list. They've already put applications in to add more. So it'll be interesting to see who they're going to target now, which is interesting because there are some groups out there, especially in New Zealand, that act like gangs, pretend to be gangs, but are under the guise of a church who do more to intimidate the public than any gang I have ever witnessed. And I have witnessed their attempts at intimidation in person. We really need to look at these laws and because they are unjust. They are very, very unjust as to who they target. Just because a gang member is wearing a patch doesn't mean he's a criminal or a bad person. Just like every person who's wearing a suit or a cross isn't a good person either. So the police are really gung-ho about going after anyone. That was obvious in the first 3 minutes of when the law was introduced. They made their first arrest. And police are doing silly stuff now, like this.
Just days after the gang patch ban came into effect, photos of 2 police officers wearing a Black Power gang patch over their uniform have gone viral, sparking public backlash and prompting an internal investigation.
This came under a lot of controversy. A police officer wearing a Mangakaha patch taken from an arrested gang member who was arrested for breaching the public insignia ban. So the police are mocking him by wearing his patch and posing for photos. They think it's hilarious. It's all a joke. For many, it is their pride in that patch. So taking it off them, cool. Wearing it and mocking them, that's another thing. That's pretty low. And I know there are many out there who don't sympathize with gangs, because of the actions of gang members. And I don't condone or support any of their actions and what they do. But what you have to realize is that going to extremes when it comes to extreme groups only causes further extreme actions to be taken. Mocking someone in that way isn't going to help any situation. It's not going to lower crime. It's not going to help these gang members to get out of those situations. And so how are the gangs taking this? How are they reacting? Well, obviously they are complying to a certain extent, but a lot of them are modifying their patches, changing them up a little bit, changing their insignia. But they are trying to be respectful. There was a high-profile tangi, a funeral, just last week in Tauranga. It was a high-profile member of the mongrel mob, passed away, and his wife passed away the next day. Now, they held the funeral on the weekend under heavy police presence, and it was unnecessary. It was absolutely ridiculous.
There was no mistaking it. The police were out in force today and made arrests early. It was the first big test a week after new gang legislation was introduced.
They did make, I think, 6 arrests for gang members wearing insignia. Caused a massive uproar.
Somebody just come and tell me why you parked outside my cemetery where my people are buried. How disgraceful is that? Go park up the bloody road. I buried my cousin there on Saturday.
And a lot of the public outcry around gangs has come around funerals, of course. They celebrate by doing burnouts, taking over the road and everything. There's a lot of energy around these groups. There's a lot of aggression that they need to get out. They're grieving. They don't know how to grieve. They don't know how to deal with a lot of these emotions. So do it in the best way they know how. Public displays of their love for their fallen brother. I know gang members do bad things. Like I said, I'm never going to deny that. I'm an ex-gang member myself. But I do understand why there is a need for these gangs. And I do know that further demonizing them and penalizing them for wearing patches and things like that doesn't help the situation at all. If you really want to change the perception, starts young. Give them better hope. Give them something to look forward to. Don't demonize them further. Don't arrest their uncle just for wearing their patch in the street, because these kids are going to see that. It's not going to stop the generational trauma which leads these kids to go into gangs. We've got to break that cycle, and we've got to break it with positivity. That's it for me for another week. Just wanted to give you another little update about some of the arrests and some of the implications and where I think it's going to go. I am going to keep you updated on this because I think it is a very important issue for all New Zealanders. And thank you to everyone who has commented and shared your opinions. Really appreciate. But can I ask that you please just keep it respectful. Everyone is a human. Everyone has opinions, but you don't need to be hateful to push your opinions. And let's share the kindness, let's share the love, and let's share the understanding most of all, because that is what changes the world, as an understanding. So that's it for me. I will see you on Sunday. Got another really interesting video delving more into the history of the skinhead movement in Christchurch in New Zealand. Yeah, because that's something everyone wants to hear about apparently. And I'm going to tell you all about it from my experiences. So stay safe everyone. Have a great week. Love and light to you. Peace out.